Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of LangChain for Beginners course. In this series of tutorials, we're gonna walk you through all the fundamentals of LangChain that you need to create your own agents. Don't worry, there is no prerequisite to this course, so you can follow along even if you are a beginner. So let's start by what is an agent. An agent is basically an application or software that can take actions autonomously with the help of large language models. You all know about large language models. They are very good at generating text or tokens, but they also have one more ability that was kind of hidden before the emergence of agents. And that is the ability that is called chain of thoughts, which means when you give an LLM a task, they are very good at breaking that task into smaller parts and tell you the steps required to actually do that task, which we call them the actions that need to be taken. So an agent is a software that is able to take actions, get feedback, and then make decisions accordingly, and then again take actions. And it can do all of these stuff autonomously with or without the help of a human in this loop. Nowadays, we have agents that can do stuff like automating your emails and inbox. They can write code, they can log into a website and maybe do some shopping for you and other stuff. So what is LangChain? LangChain is a framework that helps you create agents. Of course, you can create agents without the help of LangChain, but it provides some utilities for you that makes your life way easier. That's why we're gonna learn about LangChain and use it to make our own agents. So basically, LangChain provides an architecture for you that kind of guides you into building an agent in a more structured way. To follow along with this tutorial, you need to grab the source codes from this repository, which I'm gonna put the link into the description. So please go to the description, find the link, and then first make sure you have a browser, you have Git, and then I recommend you to have a package manager. I suggest UV, which is a Python package manager, extremely fast, and it can handle multiple stuff for you. So if you follow along with UV, it will take care of everything for you. But if you don't want to follow along with UV, just make sure that you have a Python, that the version is greater than 3.12 and less than 3.14. But if you use UV, it will handle all of this stuff for you. The next step is to just clone the repository, change the directory into this repository, and you will see something like this. So in here, there are some files that I'm gonna explain for you, and then we're gonna go and write our first chat through LangChain. So there is a .env.example file here, which basically is a place that you're gonna put the API key of the models that you want to use along this course. You don't need to have an API key for all of these services. You can just choose the one that you like and put the API key here. But before doing that, first run this command, which copies the file into another file called .env, and then put the API key that you have in that file. And then all you need to do is that after you seed it into the project, run UV sync, which will sync everything for you. It will basically make sure you have the right version of Python and all the dependencies that you need along this course. And after that, you have two choices for running the Jupyter notebooks. So in this course, we're gonna use Jupyter notebooks for the codes. If you like to have your notebooks be open in your IDE like VS Code, Cursor, or PyCharm, just double click on the notebook and then you're gonna have access to the notebook and you can run it from here. But if you don't like to use IDE for that, you can run UV run Jupyter Lab. And this will just open up the notebook for you in the browser tab. In this tutorial, I'm gonna just continue with the IDE. So I will stop this. Now we're gonna go through our code and explain how can we create our first chat model using LangChain. The first code is to just load the API keys that we have, which for this tutorial, I'm gonna use OpenAI. So I just run this code, make sure that you have the code in that .env file. Otherwise, it's gonna return false and it's not gonna work. Then what we do is that we use a function from LangChain called initChatModel, which basically a function for initializing a chat model from any supported provider using a unified interface. So basically, you can use this chat model and then pass the model that you want, for example, GPT-5 Nano, and then create a model for yourself. If tomorrow you decided to use another model, let's say from Google Gemini or from Anthropic, then all you need to do is to just come here and change the model name here, and everything else gonna work as before. After initiating a model, then what we do is that we use the invoke method, and then we can just send a message to our LLM, which I ask how much is the weight of the Earth. And you can see that it will return an AI message object for us. So AI message basically means it's a message generated by AI. And then it has different fields like content, which basically is the message returned by the AI, and have other stuffs like additional keyword arguments and response metadata. So if we just want to see the response of the AI, we can print out the response.content, and here we can see the response. If you want to just have a more beautiful print of the stuff, like the response metadata, we can use the pretty printing function from the pretty print package in Python. About the metadata, I'm gonna explain more later. But the main point was that here we were able to create a connection with a model and basically have a simple chat with it and get a response. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.